Hi guys, just back from the Wexford Local Development get together. We had a nice dinner and fair play to the lads for putting it on, or girls should I say. It's all women. I think the fella who funds it is a guy, but like it's always proactive women that run these things, you know. There's a lot of women taking part in it as well, but it is good to see lads out there as well. I think we're getting better as a whole. So no, it's good. It's good. It's certainly something where I just speak up now and I won't hold back, but I'll try and relate to everybody. You know, it doesn't matter who is there, and I'll talk to anyone now, which is a good thing. I'll relate to absolutely anyone. It's um, it's definitely helped me a lot. Doing courses while I'm not working have been great, you know, and it's certainly something that I'll carry on with in the new year. But I just wanted to kind of touch on today a symptom that I feel would resonate a lot with me, and it would definitely be characterized in borderline personality disorder, and that is a lack of identity, a lack of self. It's just something that really resonates with me, whether it's because of borderline or not, and I have to go back and get assessed even further for that in the new year. But yeah, it would sum up a lot of things, you know. Chronic feelings of emptiness, lack of self, I would say, would resonate with me a lot. The anger is definitely present, but I think a lot of people with borderline can internalise that. I don't think it's fair to say that they're just angry people and they lash out with everybody else. You can lash out with yourself a lot, in my experience, and I certainly meet the criteria for a lot of things. But I guess the way of putting it would be that you're like a newbie to everything. So you know when you see someone who's really good with their hands, they're good at fixing things, or somebody's really good with numbers, like they're really good. Like so, you might get someone who's an electrician because they're really good at fixing things. They're very good at repairing stuff, or someone's a mechanic, so they're good at repairing cars. Somebody is an accountant. They're really good with numbers. They're your go-to person. You know you can count on them if, for instance, they offer to help you out with. You know, nobody likes doing tax returns. I mean, they do them, but they don't like doing them, and numbers just give them a headache. Whereas some people, like the lad I went to do the interview with here in Gorey just recently, he said he loves spreadsheets and numbers and all, and he should have been an accountant, and that's true. You know, I have a cousin who's an accountant, and he is really good at doing all that stuff. Just see if the light comes on there. Not coming on. But some people can just do it. You know, they're naturally gifted at it. Some people are naturally gifted athletes. So, you know, if you have a gift, if you have a talent, people say you're blessed, so use it. And I guess the way it resonates with me is that I've never felt like I'm an out and out star at anything. You know, I feel like I have to be shown stuff. I feel like it's not naturally something I'm good at because it's not something I'm passionate about. I find it hard to be passionate about stuff. It's extremely difficult because I don't have necessarily a sense of self. And that leaves me vulnerable to trying a lot of different things, which I have, you know. So that would kind of be my strength, but it's like a jack of all trades and a master of none. At least in my experience, you know. I feel like even when you've autism, it's actually, especially when you've autism, you can be brilliant at one thing specifically, and you can only focus on that. Like a lot of people who are so-called geniuses will be very good at their chosen field, you know, and they don't even bother going near anything else, and they're confident enough to not look foolish doing something or trying something that they're not gifted at. Which for me, it's like, how do I even put this? It's not something that you should necessarily just avoid doing stuff that you're bad at. But you certainly know, there we go, the light's back. But you certainly know yourself enough to go, I'm good at this, I'm not good at this, I won't even try. A lot of people are like that, where they won't even try something they're not gifted at, or they're not somewhat decent at. I am the opposite. I will give everything a go and risk making a fool out of myself. which makes me feel very negative about myself, and I already do. So you can kind of see how that negativity creeps in, and then the feelings of worthlessness, hopelessness, all that stuff, all those wonderful things that come hand in hand with this lovely diagnosis. Like with autism, I would get fixated on stuff. That's definitely a symptom of that, and I can get very fixated on something, and it can be brilliant because I'll put all my attention into it and it'll be very good. If I get fixated on it, there's times where I don't, and I just get blanked, where I literally can't focus on anything. And it takes a lot of energy out of me to try and focus. It leaves you vulnerable because people are always having to show you stuff. You're not gifted at anything, so you're kind of going, oh yeah, okay, but then they have to show you again. It just kind of comes easier to people than it would do to you. Now, through trying and failing, I've gotten an awful lot of confidence. I was presenting today in front of people, and I put my hand up and was like, who wants to present? Like, who'd like to present your work that you've done in your little groups? So, giving topics about what you've learned doing the wellness program with the Wexford Local Development. And I was like, yeah, happy to do it, I was asked to do an interview. A lot of people said, no, that's fine, not judging. I was like, yeah, no problem, happy to do it. And I'm proud of myself because going from a kid that was non-verbal, or at least went from non-verbal to feeling very awkward, couldn't find a common ground with people, I have put myself in a lot of situations where I feel very uncomfortable. And I do think it's good to get out of the comfort zone. You have to. But I think what I learned from today was that a lot of people need to learn to say no. Not to everything, but know your limits. And you don't have to please everyone. Try things, and then if you don't like them and you've given them a fair go, I have given that a try, I don't like it, it burns me out, makes me exhausted. That's fine, I feel like, I'm a bit fragmented as a person, which is what they say borderline is, and it definitely does resonate. At least there are traits for sure, if it's not the full whack, it's not that I want to have it, but I'm relieved to hear, oh, okay, maybe I do have some of the traits. Because it's not a pleasant thing. Like, it's not as if it's a skill to have it. But there are certain aspects to it. Like, you will probably be a very expressive sort of person because your emotions are so strong, if that makes sense. Like, with autism, I think the opposite can be true. Now, I don't buy the whole thing that autistic people don't have empathy. I think that's a load of bollocks, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think it's misguided sometimes. They don't know how to show it. They're not comfortable with people's emotions. Like I was saying before, I always just thought, no one will give me a chance, or no woman will date me, or whatever. Then when I actually make an effort, and start looking after myself and being outgoing and make some sort of an effort, because I understand you expect the man to lead the way. You don't want some fella who's scared of his own shit. Sorry for the wonderful expression, but you can't just sit there as a man and expect women to flock to you. You gotta make an effort, and that was my problem. I just couldn't relate. I was like, oh, I like this girl, but what do I say? I'm just so out of my depth here. And I met a lot of really pleasant, good-looking girls, and when I actually made an effort, I went out with them. But when they actually show interest, and here's the funny thing, right, I get very awkward. I'm not comfortable with that. And here's me thinking, oh, they won't give me a chance and all this stuff, and they do give me a chance. And when they show interest and would like to go out with me again, I'm kind of like, oh, fuck, now what do I do? Oh, do I have to be vulnerable with this person now? I'm not comfortable with that. That's never something I thought of myself. I would have always thought I'd be someone who'd be open and vulnerable. I don't think I am. I think that's a very strange one, if I'm being perfectly honest. I would have always considered myself, at least recently, like an open book. You can talk to me about anything, you can do anything, I'm that kind of person. But it does make me feel awkward. Letting my guard down, if you like. I've always kind of, I guess, protected myself by thinking that I'm this big fat, tall, ugly fella who, can take the piss out of themselves and has a joke. Weirdly enough, when I look really good, I felt really awkward. I felt like, oh, I look really good now. People are going to expect this from me. When I did look kind of handsome and was shaving properly, and that's a little bit of a defense mechanism, gaining weight. And my brother said it before, like he gained weight to try and be bigger and stronger. And I guess I feel the same way too. I feel like if I'm attractive, then people are going to be more threatened by me, and then men are going to try and put me down. Other men, like to try and look like Billy Big Bollocks over me. Whereas I'm not into that shit. I don't care. I just want to go out and have a good time, regardless. I definitely feel like people give me more respect when I look more threatening. Like when I went on a bulk before, like I was fatter but more muscle, and start shaving my head rather than combing my hair over neatly. Like I used to have a neat comb over, and I was slim, but I was weaker, because when you're doing a cut, you are weaker. You're lean, but you're not as strong. And I guess being bigger and heftier, and I'm prone to gaining weight anyway, so it makes me more confident. But when I was looking good and I was asking women out and they said yes, Jesus, and they showed interest, like they were attracted to me, it made me feel so uncomfortable. And I'm not the ladies' man by any means, far from it, but I don't blame anyone, like any woman out there, because there's still a lot of shit I need to work on. And if I like a girl, I don't want to be putting this shit on them. Like it makes me just realise there's still a long way to go. And I keep saying it, but you can't blame other people if you're not willing to work on yourself. Like all this incel stuff that I see, like incels, like involuntary celibates, if you're not prepared to ask a girl out even, like, how do you expect to get a date? Now, I've asked girls out and gotten rejected, but the way you should look at it is, that was a ballsy thing to do. So think of yourself as being a winner, even if she says no. I know it's a hard thing to do, for sure. Like, it's not easy getting rejected, of course it's not. And it's very awkward, the first few. Well, actually, it's never not awkward, I won't lie to you. But it's a ballsy thing to do. And as I said before as well, shame on any woman who starts laughing or mocking a fella for working up the courage to ask her out. And like, that wasn't done to me, but it was kind of like, no, like an awkward sort of laugh. And they're like, oh, okay, no problem. I'm not going to lunge at you. You don't have to go out with me. You don't want to go out? No problem. Like, respect her wishes as well. Like, not fucking love guru or anything, but guru. I'm always wondering how to pronounce that. People pronounce it different ways. But yeah, it can make you feel like you're at a disadvantage. I'm getting back to what I was talking about. That awkward feeling of just not being a master of anything, like a jack of all trades and a master of none. You'll give it a go, but you're not the best at anything really. Like, I was a good rugby player, but that wasn't effortless at all. Jesus, like, when I think of it, it really was. I'll get back to it in a second.